Morning. So as you can see, I've done some branding work already. I really like this purple. I call it blurple because it's not explicitly purple or blue. It's between the two of them. So I love using that color. I think it fits in well with the color scheme here. It's really just rainbow colors. I think that's most childlike. So my whole idea is to have an app for adults inspired by children to pull you away from just the daily grind that you have sitting in front of your computer, stuck indoors all day. So I want mine to be colorful and fun, so I've already focused on a lot of that stuff. This icon set, for example, I could tweak these things all day, so I wanted to get those done in advance. So each day you'll get served up some prompts that relate to each of these 5 senses. So the idea is to use those throughout the app. And the color scheme, I think I like. The logo I'm already starting to like change potentially. I had this serif font that I made kind of fatter and rounder, but I think I might just go with something super stock. So this is Roboto, and I'm not a huge type nerd, but I kind of like the simplicity of the sans serif with the geometric shapes of the icons there. So we'll see if that changes. I also did a couple other experimentations on some like animations and transitions. So like that's going to a full screen app, kind of serving up this little loading screen there. So I did a couple experiments like that to see what I might want in the actual app, because I really want to focus on the fun, pretty side of this. In doing enterprise apps, they're really straightforward. They're meant to like get something done, and this is what Tyler could be called an unproductivity app. So I'm meant to pull you away and distract you and kind of refresh you. So I think I'll focus on transitions, lots of colors and fun stuff like that. So that's where I am. I'm excited to get started and start doing the real work. Okay, so here we are halfway through the day, and this is where I'm at. I spent a ton of time on this intro animation here. You can see here, I'll zoom in. There's a bunch of stuff here that I spent a long time working on because that's what I find super fun. And frankly, I wanted this app to be about the interactions and the funness of it. It's not really to get any real work done. In fact, it's more to like distract you. So I'll click through here. I've focused on animations. There's a ton of color, which I'm really happy about, and the way that the icon set works throughout this. I will say I intended this to be like, I don't know, an accessible app for kids or adults, but it's become really childlike. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is just for kids, for parents to be like, hey, let's go do something fun outside. So I'll click through what I have with some of the animations I put in place. I added the smile to the sun just before I shot this video. It just seemed so boring without a smile, so I made a smile. I have an idea for a transition to the next screen here, but the main chunk of the app, so that was really just the intro. The main chunk of the app is here. You have these prompts that each have to do with one of the senses, and some text up top. I'm thinking it'd be really cool if this app knew where you were, so it asks for location permissions and things like that, so that I can tell you at any given time of the day you open this app, like good morning or good evening, and kind of tells you the temperature so that it can serve you up really precise prompts, like maybe like for touch, if it's raining outside, it's like go stick your head out in the rain without an umbrella or something like that, where it's really relative to what you're experiencing in your local environment. So one of the funnest things was this interaction to put this together. So I've repeated that in a number of these prompts. So everyone is like really specific. You click into it. I just have placeholder stuff for now, but this is where you just be served up some text, maybe some more imagery here, maybe some more illustrations. I'm not really sure. But that's as dead simple as the app is so far. I've been meaning it to be simple, but it is incredibly so. And then even ephemeral. So if I go back, you have this like landing screen here where it's like, it's Friday. I originally thought of the idea like, it's almost like you could go forward in time and back in time, kind of like a calendar kind of thing. But then I really wanted to focus on the singular day. So you can't go back in time, you can't go forward in time. It's really just focused on this one day and these days' activities. So there's no record of how many activities you've completed or things like that. Maybe that needs to happen. And that could be something to make this app more robust, is like just track how many things you've completed. So you kind of learn things over time and can revisit some of these fun prompts. So that's where I'm at. Again, really focusing on these animations. I might try to bake in some more like profile type stuff where you can keep track of that. Maybe you need like an app bar or something at that point. But right now it's incredibly simple where each day you just land, click into any one of these, and you get a prompt to do that. So that's where we are. And I've been having a great time. Let's see if I can get more done. Okay, so I'm super behind on my recordings. It's actually pretty close to the end of the day here, but I added a few more interactions that I wanted to really nail down. So one of the things is that I think it'd be really cool as a kids app. My 2-year-old, actually she's 2.5 today, just experiments with stuff, and I think that's something that I wanted to bake into the app. So this transition is what I wanted to accomplish earlier when I was like alluding to this transition. I want there to be like no instructions on the screen. It's this reminder, it's Friday. But then each day, maybe there's a rain cloud one day or a moon in the evening. But I want there to be this interaction that you actually have to play around on the screen. Like you click around, and this is a drag interaction. So as you drag up, it breaks away to the screen and the content behind it. I think that would be really fun to have. So that's going to be an important piece, I think, of this app is like just fun interactions that there's not a ton of instruction around, but you just go and explore and figure that out. So I have this concept of like completing a task, and actually one of the way I've mocked it up is taste. So this one has some content here about you can eat dandelions. Then you go outside, you do it, you complete it, and there's just like a really subtle complete state. I guess it's not that subtle, it says complete. But then I was also thinking maybe we do have something like a profile where you have by category all of the senses, everything you've accomplished, and maybe it's time stamped, so you can look back through your history and see these fun challenges that you've accomplished. So I think it'd be really simple, a lot like this list, where it's a list. The way you filter it is through the sense, but then there's sort of a recording of the dates you did it and a backlog of those things. And I think you could always return. This is not super necessary, but you could always return to this home screen so you can have that kind of little puzzle piece again. But really you're going to live in this prompt screen here. So that's where we've gotten a little app bar and some more interactions with these. So my idea, I'm calling it Wonder. The idea behind it is that I have felt like every day feels like the same day, whether it's the weekday or the weekend. I like, so it was inspired by my daughter. She is just 2.5 today. She wakes up every day, 5:30, 6 o'clock, just like totally ready for the day, completely wide awake, ready to play hard. And I think that's so cute. She's just so excited for new experiences. And me, like every day I wake up, I'm like, what day is it? Like I really struggle because I'm watching the kids part of the day, I'm working part of the day. So it's really bizarre feeling. So initially the idea was an app that was inspired by kids, but for adults that really brings you out of your daily grind. Tyler mentioned, I don't know if this is a real category of apps, but he called it an unproductivity app, which I think is awesome because that's the point, is to kind of step you away from your computer and do that. So these, what I'm showing right now is just a few screens that I have, and really I intended to create just like 4 maybe unique screens, and I think I accomplished it. What I really wanted to focus on was the animations, the transitions, just to really show off or really experiment what I could do in Figma. But the app just got super colorful, which I love. The iconography is super simple. So whether it is for adults or kids, I'm thinking in reality the way like I could imagine myself using it. I open this app with Truly in the morning, and I'm like, True, let's go on a walk. Let's see what we can find. And so the idea is you click, you get a daily prompt from each of the 5 senses. And as you're going through, you can check things off. So I'll go ahead and dive into the app just to kind of show. So again, what I really focused on was some of the prettier stuff. I do a lot of enterprise level work, which is really straightforward. A lot of the time, you're there to get something done. This is meant to like slow you down, look at the world through the eyes of a child. So one of the things here is that literally I wake up and I really struggle to think what day it is. So it's just a big reminder that it is in fact Friday today. And I think it'd be really cool if it was location based. So it also like knew your weather, the time of day, because I think this screen could be really reactive to like what's happening. So today it's a beautiful sunny day. And this is something here, like there's 0 instruction on the screen. This is another thing that like I'm inspired by my daughter's, like she just like clicks around and stuff. Oftentimes she'll like press the TV screen or the computer because she doesn't realize it's not a phone. It looked like the same things. So I would want you just to be thrown into this sort of splash screen. And again, like this could be a rain cloud, or it could be the moon or something like that, depending on the weather, time of day. But this interaction is a drag up. So as you drag up, it reveals the content behind it. But you can imagine doing all sorts of fun stuff, like a rain cloud that you have to swipe away or something like that. But this was my original concept where it transitions to this. And again, this is like, I did some updates and I was like, man, this is too simple. But I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. This is more my taste, where it's not complicated, it's really simple. And I'm using rainbow colors effectively. Everything but yellow. Yellow is tough to see on this. So basically you're dropped into here. You're reminded that it is sunny and 85 degrees. Let's go explore. So that's, again, I think that'd be really cool to have that location data baked into this. So you have the 5 senses. You can jump to a profile. I'll explain that in a second, but really you live in this app on the prompts here. Home, this is not really necessary, but you could always go back and kind of do this little puzzle. So if your kid found it really fun, you could always revisit this page, but really the prompts is where you live. So all the senses, I did these icons in advance because I just love visuals and I really love detail, so I could tweak these indefinitely. So I knew that I would waste a ton of time today if I spent any time doing that. So these were done in the few days leading up to this. I just had ideas, I kept jotting them down. So one of the cool things, like Figma just does these really killer transitions that I really wanted to experiment with. So what's going on here is that like I'm taking this card, the background's expanding to be full screen. Actually, not just that, I turned it into a circle, so it kind of takes on a different shape. Those elements lock to the top, this card scrolls in, and then this X appears. So you're going back and forth between those pretty seamlessly. Oh, and then this app bar drops out of the way. So that was super fun to do. And this is, again, something I wanted to focus on because like it was meant to be like childlike, but in my mind, it really is for children. So you just click through. Again, there's like one single prompt a day. So site, we can go in and check off. So say we went out and did whatever. We counted cardinals in our backyard. That's something Truly loves to do. So we complete it, and you just get like a kind of a subtle complete state here. And then you just, click through the rest of these and do the same thing. Initially, one of the things I wanted was, I was thinking like, I don't know, a calendar app, a type of thing that like let you know what's coming up for that day. Because that was one of my struggles. Was like, what day is it? What do I have to do? But then I was like, that's dumb. That's a calendar. So this is meant to be sort of ephemeral, where it's like, it only shows you the day of, you can't really travel back in time or see what's coming up. But then I was like, maybe that's too simple. So the profile would be a place where you could go back to your previous activities and just kind of look at your accomplishments through each of the 5 senses. So you filter down by that. And I didn't get any further than this, but you effectively click into a sense, and maybe it lists like by date ones you've accomplished. And maybe you've been using that for 40 days and you've done it 32 days of those 40 days. So it's just a way that you can revisit some of those fun things you did. So say your kid was like, this was really fun, or you want to share it or something like that. So it's super simple, potentially like an image or something like that here. And that's really all there is. I think there probably is a lot more to do like within a profile as far as like capturing what you've done. But I wanted it to be like, this is the day of. My daughter's 2 and she doesn't care about tomorrow or yesterday. So it's all like living in the moment and just pulling yourself away from the grind. So that's my app. It's super vibrant. I think there's a ton of stuff you could do to make these screens really fun. Actually, I should show something I have. This is, don't look, it's all messy. I had some other experiments. I didn't know what I was going to do for that kind of like that landing page. I potentially started with just the icons, whether those are self-explanatory or not, I don't know. Something that I thought would be really cool, all of the senses are stacked into these shapes, and you could use your phone's accelerometer to like turn the phone upside down, and like the shapes would knock around and do fun stuff. Just like superfluous, but more just fun experimentations. And then actually everything was just so childlike and round and fat that I think I like the icon, but it seems way too serious now. Like it's meant to be like a twinkle in your eye, like childlike wonder. I don't know, it seems too serious compared to like the rest of these really pared down versions of the icons. But that was my app. I feel like there's not much more to it, but I don't know, that's kind of the point, so.